Alright, what's going on guys? It's GSR here. So basically I wanted to explain to you guys why I think Noob Saibot needs a slight buff in Mortal Kombat 11. Nothing too crazy to where this guy is like overpowered and shit like that. Um, but just enough to where he's a little bit more better in the game. So like the first thing I'm gonna talk about is Noob Saibot's back 3 1+3 string. I don't like the crush and blow requirement on this is because you're already conditioning the opponent to block low, right? So once they get into the sweet spot of Noob Saibot, right? You know what I mean? Like in that area, you know, like if you place it here, you're obviously gonna get hit. And when he's in a certain area, obviously, you know, you're gonna get hit with the low. So you're already blocking low, right? And he doesn't have anything that complements the lows that he has access to, right? Now, some people may disagree on this, but I'm gonna just take it there real quick. I think his back 4-2 needs to be sped up, and not only does it need to be sped up, it should be a overhead, right? And that's what I believe, right? This move should be considered a overhead. And some people may feel some type of way about this, but this would definitely complement his low if they decide to keep the crush and blow requirement the same way. Now, another way that they can do this is that if the opponent gets hit twice in a row with this, you know what I mean? Kind of like, you know, Raiden's back to, like, if you get hit twice in a row, it activates, you know what I mean? Then, you know, this character on the third time, when he lands this, he'll get a combo, right? And you know he can obviously set this up, you know, in the middle of a combo. It doesn't even matter if he hits you like this, it still will charge up and that will still count, you know what I mean? And that would be really cool for Noob Saibot because it would be too easy for this to be a counter or punish because he already has one right here, right? So the crush and blow requirement needs to take some form of skill to consistently hit the opponent with this combo string, because it wouldn't be fair for him to have another counter or punish because it'd just be too easy, right? Since he has a really good back 3. Now that's all I really had to say about that. Now when it comes to his back 4-2, right? It says triggers if you have connected with at least 10 shadow special moves. I think they need to add 5 more hits to this. And not only that, I also think that he should be able to charge this up with his normals. Now, if you pay close attention, it says triggers if you have connected with at least 10 shadow special moves. Now, last time I checked, his back 3 is also a shadow move. His back 1 is also a shadow move. When he commits into the 4-2-2, which is the second hit, right, there is a shadow move right here. So I personally believe that this character should also be able to charge up his crushing blow for his shadow tackle when he goes for these normals, right? And they should bump it up to like 15 hits, so that way it's not too easy for him to get it out and he has something to work towards. But once he gets it, he gets really good damage. And on top of that, they could probably shred it, you know, shred the damage down by 1 or 2%, and this will be perfectly fine in this game. Now, one more thing that I want to add about this is that I think they need to do what they did to Aaron Black, where Aaron Black on the side of his offensive meter, right, or beside his offensive meter, like it says 8 bullets, and I think they need to put a shadow figure over there where it says how many times you hit the opponent with your shadow normals or your shadow special moves, and that way you can keep track of it, so that way you don't lose count, especially when you're in the heat of the moment. Some people tend to lose count, right? So I think this would be really good for Noob Saibot, right? And like I said, his back 4-2, I think it should be sped up in a way, and if they don't take it upon themselves to you know, fix this crush and blow requirement situation here, because to be honest with you, like the only way he can get it out, right, is by, you know, faking you out with a hop attack possibly, or, you know, somehow catching your ass off guard when it's going to be very rare for him to do that. So like I said, if they don't really change this requirement, they have 2 different ways they can do this. One of the ways is speeding up the back 4-2, right, which I still think this needs to be sped up a little bit, right, and then it should be considered an overhead, right. Now obviously he gets pretty decent damage on it, as you can clearly see here, it's not bad. So yeah, I mean, there's that, right. What else is there? Now the character's like really minus on his back 3 for some reason, and there's plenty of characters in this game that are like really safe, and I don't understand why they would make him this minus on block. Now, don't get it twisted, I don't want this character not being able to get punished, right? But if they can shred, you know, his back 3 down like 2 frames, that would be pretty nice for this character. Not only that, like it seems like most of the time he's relying on this shadow slide a lot, and you know, this move here, right, it leaves him -8 on block, and he gets all this space, which is really dope. But like the issue here is that it seems like a lot of times he's relying on this way too much, I think, right? Which is not fair. I don't think, because there's plenty of characters in this game that can space you the fuck out with special moves, and they're completely safe, right? Now, another thing is his 1-1-3 string. I think he should be -7 on block instead of -8. I don't really agree with this because it forces him to actually do shit like this to where he can make himself safe, and I think he should only be -7 on block, and this move will be perfectly fine because characters like Sub-Zero will get a free down 1, but they still have to take into consideration that, you know, he can do shit like this to you. So that's just something that I wanted to talk about real quick with this particular situation. Now, there's like another thing I want to talk about real quick, and I'm gonna actually go to it. Now, I'll probably talk about his third variation, you know, like some other time, but this is something that I want to talk about real quick. So, I showed you guys this back in the past, and I'm gonna show you guys this again, especially for, you know, new people who are new to my channel and stuff like that. This is very important for you guys to actually understand. This variation has a lot of potential, but the issue with this variation is the fact that, you know, there are a good portion of characters in this game that can pretty much go through, they can pretty much go directly through like this nigga shit, right? So if I was to do this, okay, that's fine. Sub-Zero, you know, he did a slide. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. But then this move right here, right? As you can clearly see, it's like, how does it whiff when it actually came the fuck out? Like, that doesn't make any sense, man. Like he should have been hit, easily hit, right? So this causes a problem, you know what I'm saying? Like, that I just don't agree with. They need to fix this, and like I said, they need to speed up the startup time of this move right here, right? There are plenty of other characters that can pretty much disrespect, you know, Noob Saibot's back 4-2, excuse me, and this is unacceptable, right? Now, another thing that I think, you know, needs to be fixed is his back forward 1, right? So when he hits you like this, he gets a decent hit advantage, but the problem is that I think the hit advantage needs to be bumped up to 8 or 9 frames, and you should be really close to him so that way he gets like this restand situation, right? But not only that, he gets access to pretty much a reset, right? And this will be really good for Noob Saibot. This will also allow him to possibly create a 50-50 situation with throwing. You know, he could possibly, you know, jail you into a string or something, and this will be really, really good for this character, I think, for him to be able to do this, you know. And some people may disagree and be like, nah, bro, you're trying to make him overpowered. That's not making him overpowered. Certain fixes like this can make him a lot better in this game, and this wouldn't even make the character overpowered. This would just make him better, right? And I think this is probably it. I don't think there's anything else that I need to talk about here. Actually, his sickle port, right? It seemed like he could set up certain things, but I don't understand the sickle port at all. It seems like he could set up something, but it's like, this seems like a really good move for him to get out the corner, right? So like, if I put Noob Saibot in the corner, right, and then I go directly over here, right, Noob Saibot could probably do something like this, and then, you know, create a mind game off of that if he's trying to get out the corner, right? So it's like, I mean, obviously, you know, the character can easily get punished, and then, you know, obviously for Sub-Zero, he can get, you know, a crushing blow and shit like that. And, you know, the mind game here obviously is pretty self-explanatory, right? If he was to commit directly into this, right, he could get punished because he is -9 on block, but there is a little bit of pushback right here, right? So there will be certain characters in the game, like a few characters in the game that can easily punish him, right? So like, if you think, you know, see what I mean? Now, ultimately, as you can clearly see here, right, I can pretty much like get out the way of this and shit like that just by doing shit like that. But the problem with you doing that is that when he teleports, right, he's safe. So you just fucked up, right? So obviously, yeah, you'll get the punish if you make a correct read, but then you're probably gonna stand here, and you know, and as you can clearly see, you can still get a punish because that is a launcher, right? But it's a pretty interesting mind game because it's like, you know, that can cause problems. Now, this might be a tad bit of a stretch, but I'm willing to take it there. I think he should be able to also, you know, do this move on the ground. As you can clearly see here, he can throw it and all that extra shit, but I think he should also do this on the ground, right? Where he can throw out, you know, a sickle port, right? And he can create a mind game off of that. You know what I mean? Where like, he could possibly get more pressure, right? Like, how should I put it? You know how Melina was back in MKX in her, I think it's called ethereal variation, where she has like really good mobility, like she can keep teleporting and shit like that and getting more pressure. This would be really good for Noob Saibot, I think. But the downside of this is that, you know, he'll still be minus, you know what I mean? But this will ultimately allow him to create a good mind game where, like, you know, he throws it out. Not like this, right? But he throws it behind you, right? And he can throw it in front of you as well, and he creates a mind game off of this. Kind of like Scorpion's, what's it called? Hellport cancel. Kind of like that, right? And this would be pretty nice for Noob Saibot in this variation. I think this variation would be pretty useful, like really, really good, I think. But he'll still be minus, you'll still be able to punish him and stuff, but the downside of this is that if you don't react quick enough, he can take another turn, he can apply more pressure and all that extra shit, and it would be pretty nice to see something like that in this game. But that's just my thoughts on this, because it would be pretty interesting to see what he could do off of that. But yeah, this is all I really had to say about this particular situation. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Be safe out there. Peace.